Have you ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels? I mean, you're doing all the things, you're putting in the work, but the results you really want, in your finances, your health, your career, they just always feel a little bit out of reach. It is such a frustrating cycle. Well, today we're going to talk about why that happens and, more importantly, how you can finally break it.
Here's the thing. I think the core of the problem is that most of us are trying to change our lives from the outside in. We get obsessed with the results. We're constantly checking the bank account, stepping on the scale, refreshing our inbox, waiting for that reply. We're basically trying to change the shadow without ever moving the object that's casting it. And honestly, it's exhausting, and it just doesn't work.
So in this explainer, we are going to get to the real root of all this. First, we'll talk about something I call the effect-chasing trap. Then we're going to map out your inner cause chain to see how results are actually created. We'll see it in action with some real-world examples. I'll walk you through a super simple 2-minute cause audit you can use right away, and then we'll wrap up with a recap and talk about what's next.
Okay, so let's dive into part 1, the effect-chasing trap. There's this writer, Ernest Holmes, who put it so perfectly. He said that everything we can see and experience, our health, our job, our bank account, is an effect. It's the result that you can see. The problem is we spend all of our time and energy trying to manage and fix these visible effects, but we rarely look at what's causing them to show up in the first place.
Now, this isn't just some abstract law of physics, right? It's a fundamental law of the mind. The law of cause and effect governs everything, and the crazy part is we are the ones who set it into motion with our own thinking. The cause isn't some random thing happening to you, it's the thought you can't see. Your most dominant thoughts are literally creating a mold, and your life, your reality, just pours right into it.
And you can really see the difference here. On the left side, that's what focusing on effects looks like. It's all passive, anxious energy. You're waiting, you're checking, you're hoping. But look at the right side. That's focusing on causes. It's active, it's empowered. You're not just hoping for a raise, you're actively defining your value. You're not just wishing you'd lose weight, you're planning your meals. See the shift? It's the difference between being a spectator in your own life and being the creator.
So if there's one thing to get from this first section, it's this. Your conditions, the effects you see in your life, they are literally held in place by your mind. Which means, if you want to change the condition on the outside, you absolutely have to change the thought on the inside. That is the only way out of the trap, period.
Okay, so how does a thought actually become a thing, a result? That brings us right to section 2, your inner cause chain. The results in your life are not random at all. They are the final and frankly predictable link in a chain that always starts with a single, tiny thought. Your results are the end of the chain, not the beginning.
So here's how it works. It all starts with an assumption. This is a silent, deep-down belief you hold about yourself or about the world. Now, that assumption, it generates an emotion. That feeling, in turn, influences a choice, usually a tiny little micro-decision you barely even notice. And when you repeat that same choice over and over again, it becomes a habit. And what does a habit do? It inevitably, automatically produces the final result. It's like a set of dominoes, starting with one invisible belief and ending with a very real, very tangible outcome.
Okay, I know that might sound a little bit abstract, so let's make it super concrete. In this next section, we're going to trace that exact cause chain through 3 really common situations that I think we can all relate to in our work, our relationships, and our health.
Just take a look at this. Let's start with work. The result or effect is feeling stuck in my career. The habit that causes it? Avoiding new challenging projects. But why? What's the root assumption driving that habit? It's that silent belief, I'm not skilled enough for the next level. Or how about relationships? The result is having the same fight over and over. The habit is reacting defensively instead of really listening. And the root assumption? They don't truly respect my perspective. And health. The frustrating result is being inconsistent. The habit is skipping workouts when you're tired. The sneaky little assumption that makes it all okay? Missing one day won't make a difference. You see? The invisible cause creates the visible effect. Every single time.
So now that we get the model, the big question is, how do we apply it to our own lives? Well, that brings us to section 4, the 2-minute cause audit. This is a really simple but really powerful practice you can do right now to find those invisible causes that are running the show in your own life. Let's actually do this together. You can grab a piece of paper or just think it through with me. This is the moment where just understanding this stuff turns into real, actual change.
Okay, first up, step 1, name the effect. I want you to pick one recurring result in your life that's been bugging you. Maybe your bank account never seems to grow past a certain point, or you're always feeling behind on a project, or you just have this persistent low energy. The key is to be specific, and don't judge it, just name it.
Got it? Okay, now for step 2, trace the habit. Look at that effect you just named and ask yourself this. What is the repeated action or choice that directly leads to this result? What do I consistently do, or maybe not do, that ends up here? This is all about connecting that outcome back to your own behavior.
And here we go. This is the most important part. Step 3, find the assumption. Look at the habit you just identified and ask this incredibly powerful question. What would I have to believe is true about myself or about the world to keep making that same choice? That answer, that deep, silent belief, that is your cause. And this is your point of power. Because once you can see it, you can start to change.
All right, let's bring this all home in our final section, recap and what's next, just to make sure this powerful framework really sticks with you.
So here are the absolute must-knows. First, your reality is an effect. Your dominant thoughts are the cause. Second, chasing effects is a recipe for frustration. Real change only happens when you shift a cause. Third, your results are the predictable end of that 5-step cause chain we talked about. And finally, number 4, you have the power to find your own root causes using that simple 3-step cause audit.
Now, if you want to go even deeper with this idea and explore more frameworks for shifting your mindset, you can listen to the audio version of this explainer and check out our entire mindset playlist. All you have to do is scan the code on your screen or click the link down in the description.
I want to leave you with one final thought. The whole point of finding the cause isn't to beat yourself up about it. It's about reclaiming your power. So, now that you have the tool to see what's really driving your results, what new, intentional, powerful effect will you choose to create?